Hey there, guys. I'm Toby Rudolph, and you're about to listen to the ET Stand podcast. Shaka, brah.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand podcast. It's the show that didn't crap its pants when it saw the Sharks players down at Cronulla. It sat on a chocolate by accident outside Ridge's Hotel. And can I just say thank you to the 5 ex-girlfriends that decided to send me a text message to let me know that I had crap on my pants. I haven't heard you from you for years, but I'm really pleased to know that you still look at my ass. Anyway, this is the ET Stand, the Cronulla Sharks fans podcast. We're out talking to the football. Thank you for making us part of your day, wherever in the world you may be listening or wherever you may be watching. We're live on YouTube and Facebook, and available on delay on audio in all of the good places. The preseason done. We're over a week away from the Sharks opening clash with the Gold Coast Titans. Joining me on this journey are the real co-captains that are related to the Cronulla Sharks, Chris Kelly and Stephen Franklin. Kelly, I can see you just chuckling away at the poo, the brown stuff on my shorts. Did you enjoy the footy over the weekend, and did you enjoy seeing me have crap on my pants?
You know what? I thought, wow, he must have posted something really great on Instagram today because it's absolutely blowing up with DMs. And just to see a bunch of ex-girlfriends fly in the DMs and goes, what happened to your shorts? And to, Boldo's usual credit, he blamed Franco. It was great.
I'm sure. Well, I'm sure Franco was at fault. But Franco.
Well, I tell you what.
Did he?
I tell you what. I was very polite for a little while, thinking, gee, he's brave wearing those pants, but he obviously knows what's going on there. There's things that happen. That's fine. And then when I eventually decided to tell him, he didn't believe me. Took the footage, took the photo, and he straight away said, "Oh, you've done some sort of AI Photoshop job on that." I was like, "I beg your pardon. How quick can I do AI Photoshopping? Not that quick."
It was a massive chocolate mark on my pants. It was, I would say, embarrassing, but I'm just too proud and not worried to be embarrassed.
The Sharks merch van was there. You could have grabbed a nice jersey, wrapped it around.
I didn't even think of that. Why didn't I think of that?
You need the merch guy there.
Oh, I needed the merch guy. I didn't even have a jersey on. Well, that'll teach you guys. Lesson learned. If you're going to sit down somewhere in Cronulla and you're going to try and fix your microphones, which also didn't work because I worked out why we didn't get them. Well, I worked out why we didn't get the microphones working, guys, because we turned the app on first before putting the microphone in. There's the mistake we made. So apologies for those that saw us on Instagram. We did interview Nico Hines, Toby Rudolph, and a few of the other Sharkies in and around there. So we got those up on YouTube and Instagram. So if you haven't followed us there, go check us out on the Instagram page. And if you didn't notice my chocolate ass, well, you're lucky you. All right, well, let's talk less about chocolate. But can I just say that Sard Soap did a really good job cleaning those pants? I reckon they're in pretty good shape. So maybe Sard should be our sponsor. All right, tonight, we don't have the side panels because it's a pretty, not basic show, but there's pretty obvious discussion points. We're going to talk top 8 predictions. We're going to talk about fallout from Franco and me attending the Sharks season launch. What did Coach Fitzgibbon say to us off interview that we might be prepared to share, or what might we not be prepared to share? Certainly, I love Fitzy. He's such a cool guy. We'll certainly, I just bandwagon jumping with Fitzy now. Who else do we get to see, meet, and hang out with? We'll chat major takeaways from the NRL preseason and anything that took our eye. And I'm going to share with you 5 things that I am sick of hearing about this offseason about the Cronulla Sharks. But let's get into the season launch, shall we, fellas? So the Cronulla Sharks held their season launch down at North Cronulla Beach on Monday. The boys walked into Cronulla Beach, much like Vegas, Chris, actually. So, they only had one drum. They had Tim from Shark Cage with the drum rather than the paid Vegas drum guys. I thought that was quite a bit of theatre and the banners and that sort of stuff. And we saw them coming. I think that had a bit of pomp and circumstance to it, didn't it, Franco? What did you think of the march in and the walk in?
Yeah, I liked it. It's when it was explained that that's what they would be doing, I sort of thought, oh, here we go. This is a bit of malarkey. But as they sort of came over the hill there, down the
It's kind of cool
Esplanade,
vision.
it was kind of nice. Yeah, it was really good. The drums, hats off to Tim there, from the Shark Cage group. He got it sort of bit of atmosphere with them, so they weren't sort of just strolling down. It sort of gave that bit of pomp and ceremony. I think they had to do Triple M guys in there, sort of, so it gave it a bit of official sort of clout.
Gave it a Sharks feel to it, didn't it, with the Triple M guys?
Yeah, it was Aaron Woods and live crossing, even though he was 100 meters away from the bench, but live crossing to Bo Ryan, so they're having a bit of a banter as they walk down, and it was good to see. Yeah, they walked their way around through and then up to the stage.
All right, so pre the Sharks working in, we did get to chat with the great Andrew Ettinghausen. Oh, it's always great chatting with ET. So we did the interview with ET, and he's just so nice, ET. And it's also funny because I asked him the question, ET, do you think the Sharks how can we go this year? And I swear he just answered exactly the same way that he answered last year when we saw him in Las Vegas. I think we've got the side for it this year. I think we've got good in attack. And Nico's look, it's like literally rinse.
To be fair, we do have the same side, so
yeah, to be fair to him, then he's certainly pretty confident. But he is just imagine of having a lifetime of that many years, even now and today, being asked, Chris being like, he just gets asked for photographs all the time. Remember we were in Vegas and he's like, I can't walk 5 meters without someone asking me to get a photograph. Can you imagine a lifetime like that?
Oh, I'm sure he laps it up. He loves it. It's ET. He's the best looking man in rugby league. I think our best video we ever did was Carl Stefanovic raving on about being in ET's bedroom in Vegas. Everyone just loves him. He's a great, friendly guy, very approachable. I'm sure it was very different for him to be at Cronulla Beach compared to where did we end up last time? Win Casino or something.
Win Casino, and yeah, something like
Playing
that.
roulette.
Well, so ET was in particularly good form. And then we also got to see Barry Russell was down there. So his shoulder's a lot better. So it's interesting that, and I think it's great that some of the, legendary, iconic Sharks alumni get down there. So it's good to see Barry's shoulder being better, and he was charging around. And then this is something that I hadn't realised that you could do. So Sharks historian Ash Taylor was down at Sharks Beach or Cronulla Beach, and he was getting his Monopoly board signed. And I thought, what a brilliant idea. So he's got his Monopoly board and he's got all the signatures on it. So he's getting that done, building quite a brilliant piece of merch. So shout out to you, Ash Taylor. But
just for those that are not aware, and there's a bit of a gap in that story, not just any old Monopoly board. It's a Sharks themed Monopoly board.
Oh, everyone knows the Sharks themed Monopoly board.
I tell you what, if I was sitting here with a beer or a Pepsi or I was driving to work listening and you're like, oh, such a good idea. He got his Monopoly board signed. I'd be like, what is he talking about? Why is that a good idea?
Yeah, Paul Gallen signed Mayfair because he made so much money out of the Sharks that Paul Gallen's able to afford Mayfair now. And he's totally cool with going to London and paying $2,000 for the hotel. So, yes, he was getting his Shark Monopoly board signed. And then we saw ET Stand regular viewer Ash Williams still complaining about the referees, funnily enough. And then, of course, we worked out that I had the chocolate on my pants. So then once the squad once the squad appeared on stage, Fitzy was interviewed, which Franco filmed for us, but I haven't bothered to post that yet. It was very standard answers, wasn't it, Franco?
It was quite cliche.
It was cliched.
But, it's easy to be cliched at this time of the season. There's nothing really building. There's nothing in game to talk about. No wheels have fallen off the wagon, so to speak. So yeah, it was quite cliche, but at least it was there and it was something to watch and listen to.
So we had a good chat with Fitzy afterwards. He's a football coach. He's a football guy and he just loves chatting football. And I can understand why he wouldn't love being up on stage in front of a whole bunch of people answering questions. Chris, and you were there with me in Las Vegas when we got to chat footy with him as well. He's particularly learned, and when you get to just chat footy with him, it's just brilliant. So I don't hold that against him. Not like you don't have to be a coach and enjoy the media, do you, Chris?
No, not at all. You've seen the greats like Wayne Bennett, even Bill Belichick in the NFL, where they're not media friendly. They don't have to be. They just do the job, so they don't get fined and move on because they just want to get back to doing what they get paid to do. Like they don't really need to make those answers for the media because they'll just make up their own story anyway. So he's a very different guy. Like you said, behind the scenes, we've had a few football chats with him. His eyes kind of light up because it is passionate for him. And was there any little tactic changes from last year's Vegas discussion, Boldo?
Well, I didn't get outed for thinking that he wasn't a good attacking coach by anyone this time. And I wasn't a couple of beers deep. Certainly I worked out, remember that last year we used to chat, is Fitzy for 4 forwards or Daniel Atkinson? And certainly the position he put forward for us was that he liked the idea of the 4 forwards. And so he's got a plan and an idea. He didn't want to give it away to Franko and me down on the beach of his plan for the interchange bench. But he will have some sort of plan, I think, Franko, and an idea. I mean, I expect him to hold the 4th one back, Franko, without giving too much away. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I kind of feel as though he's treating it as a bit of a novelty at this stage. He's going to run his best team and then work out through the season what the extra bench will look like, which is a fair way to play it, I think, because, obviously you do only have 4 benchies, assuming everyone's fit and healthy and get on the field. You don't get to pick and choose, I want to run this guy or this guy. It's 4 usable bench players unless someone gets injured. It just gives you a bit more flexibility. So you've still got to go in with a plan, but that plan should predominantly be wrapped around, here are my 4 guys.
Now, I did ask him about something else. I said, Fitzy, captain's challenges. Can we please just get better? And he just shook his head and said, I know. Yes, I know.
You should have asked Mr. Woods while he was down there. You should have asked Aaron Woods what he thought of the captain's challenge because, God, if everyone remembers, awful.
I wasn't asked. Well, we didn't chat. Funnily enough, we didn't chat to Aaron Woods. We basically chatted to everyone else. But we decided that Aaron Woods, I don't know, I guess Aaron Woods wasn't considered worthy of us.
We thought about it.
Well, I think there was a seagull that was walking along the beach that was having a feast of fish from last night that we thought about interviewing before we might have given Aaron Woods the ex-Sharky. Okay, so it was a good time with Fitzy. I think that was everything from the Fitzy chat, wasn't it, Franko? Or everything we might.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of loose lips sink ships, so keep a bit of that under our hats, and thank very much Fitzy for his time. But he's, I think, as Boldo mentioned, very much passionate about his role and the Sharks, and I think that if you don't see it coming across in his media interviews or his presses, at least rest in the knowledge that it certainly is there behind the scenes.
We certainly got me convinced, so whether that means anything to anyone or not, who knows?
He's halfway there.
Who knows? I'll just say to you, Dev Era, in the comments, it says, Bulldogs fan checking into the channel to hurl abuse at the panel. We are going to talk about in a little bit, Dev Era, whether we think the Bulldogs are going to make the top 8. And spoiler alert, someone on this panel doesn't think they're going to make the top 8. So you can hurl abuse at them. That will be... he should
be tuning in from Vegas. What's he doing?
He should be.
And
then Shark JD, fantastic interview with Nico Boldo. Shame we couldn't hear anything. Yeah, well, I'm going to play with the sound editing tomorrow. So, and I got my niece. Shout out to my niece. Sends me a text. So someone who looks at the internet a lot, you need captions on your stuff. And so I said to her, well, if you want to put captions on it, you can gladly do it for me, Bianca. I'll be looking at you. All right. Anyway, that was Fitzy. So then on the player interviews on stage, they had AFB, Tommy and Trindle. Can I just say, having seen Tricky Trindle in action, there's a bit more confident. That guy is like absolutely hilarious. And then for AFB, he must be sick of people asking him about Origin, Chris.
Oh, Why? It's not even round one. It's close to round 0, and we're worried about Origin. Like, God, just stop it. That's all I need to say about Origin. We don't even worry about it. It's so far away.
Just stop it. Well, I think the general consensus is that the Sharks will do well for the big game experience that maybe perhaps Britain Nikora and AFB will get exposure to, Franco?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the way you look at it. Obviously, in a perfect world, Origin doesn't interrupt a regular season, but knowing that it does, hanging in and around the better players, learning some tips and tricks from them, maybe game preparation, it does rub off. We've certainly heard about Brayley coming back from the Australian camp, and even though he didn't get on the field, he's come back a more confident player, trying a bit more, thinking about the game a little bit more than just sort of going about the motions. So those sorts of things exponentially increase the more exposure you get to those environments. It's no different really to having a junior or a reserve grader playing up and training around the first grade team before going back to New South Wales Cup or the lower grades. That exposure to the first graders sort of shows them what needs to happen to make that next step up. And this is the same again for first graders, showing what they need to step up if they do want to be a representative level player and or continually successful in September.
Beyond that, Trindle was pressed on his combination with Nicho Hynes, and they did divulge that they've been eating some steak and broccoli together and hanging out a fair bit, which was nice to see that bromance coming along. The players then went off stage and then started to sign some autographs. And amusingly, Big Gal was called on for the 10-year anniversary of the premiership. And I thought it was a little bit sad for poor Gal, Franco, because all the people that turned up to watch the season launch seemed more intent on getting signatures from the players than they were to listening to Gal talk about the premiership from 2016. So Gal recounted him and a few of the other Sharks boys recently rewatching the grand final, and he was exposed to some footage that he hadn't seen. So we'll certainly look forward to having that come up. Then beyond that, we interviewed Felix Fartelli. He got his first interview with us, and we would have published that, but he swore a little bit too much. So and he was getting distracted by Braden Trindle in the background. So I'm going to have to go play with that footage and work out what I can do. The ongoing saga with Marween Hiroti continues for David Bolderman. So Hiroti and Kaeliro were both there at the same time. And Hiroti's just absolutely hilarious, giving me a hard time. We spent some time talking to Toby Rudolph. He declared his intention and want to stay. He definitely wants to stay with the Sharks and is making it known that he wants to stay. He's just so good in front of the media and such a good talker, Toby Rudolph, isn't he, Franco?
Yeah, he really is. I will jump back a little bit before I confirm that for you, but I thought Hazelton was actually very good on the mic as well. He spoke confidently. He was clear, crisp. He didn't sort of, unlike me, and he was very to the point and was able to sort of speak through the various questions that were proposed to him. And I thought that was pretty good.
They were all standard though. That's why I didn't call him out.
They were all standard, but even that, we AFB and Trindle, who have been in and around the game for a lot longer than him, they were a little bit more hesitant in their responses. And you're right, since they were all cliche questions, they should all roll off the tongue. And I thought Hazelton did a really good job. As far as Rudolph is concerned, you're right, mate. He's absolutely born to be in front of the camera and have a mic in his hand. I think he's got a bit of a career ahead of him there when he wants it. And I think that, he's one to play with what's given to him. I think he sort of gave the right answers when he needed the right answers and played up when he needed to play up. So he knows the balance there as well.
And then lastly, the last interview we grabbed, which you can turn the volume up and listen to on the YouTube page if you want to go look at the shorts. Spent a little bit of time with Nicho Hynes, and I just want to say I get, and I'm going to talk about this later. I get asked about Nicho Hynes as the host of a Cronulla Sharks fans podcast. It's probably the most common question. Nicho can't do this and this. Nicho's lacking in confidence. Nicho's not a good player. He is not any of those things. He's like self-assured. He knows the role that he plays. He is terrific with the fans. He interacts with them in a brilliant way. He is a skillful player. He trains hard. He's very considered. He is a skillful dude. He just happens to be the third or fourth or maybe fifth best halfback in the NRL. And that's bloody good. He is like really, really elite level player. We just need him to find that little bit extra. But we also need all other 24 players to find a little bit extra. But because he's the high profile one, he cops a bit of stick. And he did wish my mother happy birthday on the interview as well, which was a bit cute. So he also deflected the question on taking the 2, Chris Kelly. So he didn't really want to give an answer. I just kind of do, whichever one we're feeling at the time. I'm like, well, that's not bloody an answer. You should be kicking the 2 points every single time. But you should be practicing your kicking a bit more too, Nico. So then after that, it ended. Then we spent some time with Steve Mace. He's just hilarious, that guy, isn't he, Franco? That was he's so much fun, Steve Mace. And he's such a good businessman. And then Bo Ryan was nice enough to give us a bit of his time too. So he was amusingly wearing a Paul Gallen jersey from back when they played together. I was looking at the jersey and I'm thinking, that is an old worn out jersey. I'm like, why is he wearing that? It's like CSFC on the front. It's like number 13. So then he sees Paul Gallen and he's giving him a hard time. And we asked Bo Ryan about his thoughts on his time with the Sharks. And I said, mate, maybe get as much credit for how much you helped the Sharks at the time. And he did say, yeah, the Sharkies were in a tough space when he and a few of the other Tigers guys turned up. And he said, oh, yeah, Fafita made a big difference. And then we also called out Todd Carney to just turn that team around. And then Franco's wife, finally got a photo of Bo Ryan and her lovely husband both together. She could blow it up and put it on a wall, can't she, Franco?
I know who she'd be looking at on that photo.
You, mate. Oh, there's that cute,
it's not me.
There's a cute guy in the background.
It's going to be folded on one side.
Yeah, correct.
I thought Bo Ryan was pretty good, wasn't he, Franco?
Yeah, he was very good. Gave us time when he didn't really need to. He was wrapping up with the Triple M guys. Sort of had a bit of a joke about the 7th tackle try as well. I think
about that.
Yeah, I think he was good. He was also. I think he sort of got a bit of that element of he knows how to work a room, which as he should with his career. But he gave the time and day to anyone who asked and was able to sort of work your way around and sign autographs and take photos while still engaging with everyone that would give him a bit of a question or whatnot. He wouldn't just fob them off. So full credit to him. Similar to back to ET when you're talking about everyone going up and asking him to take a photo and whatnot. He wouldn't just take a photo and then walk away. He would take a photo and have a chat and basically be there with them until someone else would then ask a photo. And then that's when he would say, excuse me, I got to take another photo. And then he'd spend some time talking to that next person who asked for the photo. And to wrap up the trifecta, Nico Hines was clearly the most popular guy there on the day. Geez, everyone wanted a piece of him in photos and signatures and whatnot. So keep going, Nico. You've got the love of the club.
Even Franco and I got asked to be in a photo or two, didn't we, Franco? That was good fun.
We did. Thank you, everyone that did that.
Thanks for making us feel a little bit special. We certainly, and yeah, we'll talk to you for 17 hours about the Sharks. We'll certainly do that. I think that's everything from the Sharks meet. I thought overall it was far more successful than I was anticipating. I thought it was terrifically done from the Sharks. And then post event, they took their sponsors and all their players and staff into the restaurant, the name of which I can't remember, underneath Zimzala's, but close to the beach. Pines, there we go. They must be a sponsor of the Sharks or something. All right, coming out of that, the Sharks also announced their co-captains, which is really a nod to the future, but respectful of the services of both Cam McInnes and Blake Brayley announced as the co-captains of the Sharks. And we kind of saw this one coming in that we saw Fitzgibbon's announcements or comments on whether Blake Brayley would be the captain. I thought Paul Cam felt a bit out of it, having been a bit injured. And they didn't have Blake Brayley speaking either. And given that Cam's not going to play, I felt it's a bit tough for Cam being the club captain. Franco, what's your take on the captain and the McInnes situation?
Yeah, they didn't talk on the public stage, but they did talk in the sponsorship restaurant. So they were up there to have a bit of a chat. I guess we've all know what's going on with McInnes. He is injured. He needs to come back. He's eager to get back, but he's also a bit of a realist, I think. And when you're as competitive as he is, it's just got a sting that you're sitting on the sideline. And I think that's what we're seeing. There's certainly no, I don't think he's dejected in terms of feeling that he's on the outer or anything like that. I just think he really wants to get in there and compete and make a difference.
Mike, I agree with you. Mike in the comments saying Nico should be captain. I've been saying that for a while. We'll get Chris Kelly's reaction to the co-captains. What do you think, mate?
Oh, I think it's the perfect scenario. You just said Nico should be captain, and I've always thought, yeah, he's a great poster boy, but it takes the pressure right off him being the central halfback, and like you said, the star of the show, the big high-profile player. I think it works out perfect that Cam is the co-captain because he's such an experienced player, and whilst he's injured, he gets to do those sort of PR roles. He can help out around the club. He can go and do those functions that Brayley's too busy to do. If you remember last year, Boldo, the Vegas launch, a lot of fans disappointed because Nico and Brails were held up doing some media stuff, and they were actually weren't there for the fans that were lining up for a couple of hours, where Cam can sort of take the heat off Brails and do that stuff off field, where Brayley can concentrate on learning to be a captain and doing it on field and doing a really good job. So I think it works. It's a lot better than a few clubs that have 4 captains, if not 6 captains. So I'm happy to run with the 2, but I think really good choices. We always knew that Brayley was going to be the captain anointed at some point. So, like I said, I think perfect choices. While one's out, he can do that stuff. The other one on the field and learn his captain's traits and go from there.
I think there's also that element of the interview that Fitzy did before the second trial, where he talked about Brayley growing an extra leg once he was named captain, and that really sort of fitting him in terms of putting a bit more of an effort in and sort of really trying to lead the club. And that bonus of him being a local junior who loves the club, who's come through the grades, I think there's just that little touch of glory there. If we were to win a grand final and Brayley was the one to hold up the trophy, a local junior who's put everything into the club, I think that just sits a little bit better than someone who signed into the club, admittedly, who has also moved into the area, loves the club. But there's just that little touch of class from having it come from someone like Brayley, I think.
All right, the NRL preseason is wrapped. The Parramatta Eels being awarded the 2026 preseason Witzer Cup. And I'll say awarded. I'm going to say awarded for now, because last time the Eels won a preseason cup, it then got stripped off them a couple of years later for salary cap. So for now, they are the champions. And to all my Eels fans, I keep teasing them and saying that I haven't heard from them because they're securing their grand final tickets. So the Titans needed 5 offloads in the last 3 minutes to win, but seem not interested in qualifying or bothering for that. Good work, Josh Hannay. Seems like you've been well and truly graduated from the Cronulla Sharks. Alumni of coaches that don't realise the preseason rules. Given how the Sharks absolutely pumped the Raiders, it made me realise, well, we could have actually won the whole damn thing if we'd have played our strongest team. But Nico and Braden Trindle will always be picked for the Indigenous All-Stars team. Key takeaways from mine. I thought the Titans looked improved in their defence. Tigers had 2 wins, so they might be on the up. People are definitely talking up the Eels, whether that's true or not. And the Storm and the Panthers, well, they didn't win a game. So what does that tell you? Chris Kelly, what took your eye in the preseason? What are your key outtakes?
Oh, look, it's very hard because I watch it with excitement that rugby league's back, but also wariness that it's a trial. It's very hard to watch the last 20 minutes of any of those trial games. Even it was exciting, the Tigers-Panthers, the last 20 minutes was a drop-a-thon because you're talking about Reggies and blokes who are trying to sort of push their way into top squads, so it was tough. But the first half of that game was unbelievable. They unearthed a really big winger, and obviously Cleary. It doesn't matter in trials; you can head high people, face 2 weeks, and just get off. So obviously things like that, don't worry. Again, like you said, we had a heavy
next year's trials.
Yeah, you could even do that, but he had carryover from the week before, from the season before, and still happened to just go on anyway. So I don't know what happens with trials, and don't worry about it. Just go straight to judiciary and get out. So
now you've got one Scott Latino in the comments here saying the Cleary judicial decision was horse shit. And I just say, lads, if you're awake and able to watch, why don't you join the damn show? Just go get the link and just join. So you're more than just tell us what you really think. And can I also just say, lads,
busy in the break room.
sending me a text message at 8:35, giving me your top 8 when we're going to talk about the panel's top 8 picks. From the show starts at 8:30 really doesn't help. But I am going to talk through your top 8. Franco, anything to add on the preseason?
Yeah, no, look, it's been like this for a couple of years now, but I just like to acknowledge how much I appreciate Fox Sports and the NRL trying to make the preseason a bit of a thing.
Agreed.
Because as Kelly said, it's just, I think that's a good build up to the fact that the league is back, right? It gets the rust out for everyone, the commentators, the broadcasters, the fans even, it really shakes off the shackles of cricket and netball or whatever you watch through summer. I just think it's one of those. Yeah, I just think it's one of those things. It's like, yes, football's back, and really, you keep reading about, used to keep reading about the games, and they certainly get a lot of coverage in the print. But like, why are they not covering this? Like, this is just dumb that they don't show it. And
which is more content, isn't it?
It's just more content. You get a bit of a barometer on some of the other teams, while there's definitely a caveat on that, it's more a barometer on how their development of juniors is going and what sort of depth they've got, I think is sort of the bigger call out from there. Because as we all know, winning 2 from 2 and losing 2 from 2 means nothing.
And the other cool thing I want to say is pretty cool for, like you just said, for Fox to expose it, but also to put on double headers. Like, how good's that to have double headers at the same ground?
Yeah,
like,
that's good.
Central Coast and Leichhardt. And they actually made mention, like, the Panthers and Tigers. The other game was still going between the Dolphins and the Warriors, which was pretty exciting as well. And you got Cleary warming up on the back fence like an old school ground, like it's just like backyard footy, like it's like A grade down the local park. So fans get to expose to a warm up on the field, which they don't normally see because they're usually hidden areas or hidden fields, and it made it feel like something kind of cool. So easy to watch.
Do you think, Mr. Kelly, that it was a shame that Josh Hannay clearly didn't pay attention to the rules or didn't care or wasn't keeping score? And unlike in the NFL, when the top coaches clearly know the rules, with 3 minutes to go, the Titans were ahead and had the points. All they needed was 5 offloads. I reckon it would have been just something just really different for the NRL to see for that 3-minute period. The Gold Coast Titans trying to conjure up 5 offloads in one set. Do you think it's a shame that they didn't see that through, or do you think that just turns it into a farce? Or should they change the point scoring system altogether?
I think they should change the point scoring system altogether. I think imagine what constitutes an offload, because me and you could be running around just throwing the ball to each other 5 times and it's 5 offloads, and that's how they take the piss out of like winning the shield. So it's
a hand on the ball, the ball carrier, and then they pop it out
just
the back.
pass it to each other. Because I remember 2 years ago we were in the same situation.
We lost by 1.
Bossy was screaming at us, don't know the rules. I'm like, I don't think they care at this point. Like,
they should care.
End the trial.
No, they should care.
No one remembers.
It's not about remembering. It's $100,000.
Yeah, it's very important for the Sharkies. $100,000. Thank you very much.
$100,000. That'd be pretty good. If
Especially the Sharkies.
If I walked into Dino's office and said, Dino, I've got $100,000 sponsor for you on a piece of stuff that you've not even thought you could sell, he would certainly welcome that. So
yeah, I think looking at the Sharks, it was definitely covered through an interview that they were not aware that they needed to do the offloads to win that. I think we had a bit more of an opportunity to do it because we had a lot more time. With the Titans, and I can be corrected here by any of the commenters or Boldo, they still had to score, which they eventually did. And then, I think it was just those 3 minutes.
Yeah, they had one set.
Apparently, they had one set. Apparently, they were, Hannay not a part of this, but apparently down on the sideline, they were discussing the offload scenario and what to do there. So they were aware of it. But one set, I think, is maybe a bridge too far in that scenario.
I think if we were given $10,000 to say one word 50 times in an episode, we would find a way to say the word
Yeah, well, that comes down to schedule, like you said. Like we had 6 players representing in the Maori and
Comes a bit
Indigenous
down to
All Stars game. It comes down to all that stuff. Then we might as well send out a troop for 40 minutes, and then against the Raiders, we might as well play the whole team for 80 minutes and make sure we win 80-0 and win it in one game.
Well, certainly if it was for and against, that would be the case. All right, we'll move on from the preseason. Let's go through some of these comments. Shark SJD in the comments says, any list that doesn't have the Dolphins in the top 4 will be wrong. Thank you for your attention to this matter. All right, SJD. Well, we'll see which ones of us. Ashley Williams in the comments says, it just admits here that he started the referee chat and that it was nothing to do with me. So, Ash, thank you for admitting that for us. Williams 2.0 says, any news on the Sione Katoa injury? I've not heard anything. Dev Era says apparently he's not injured and pushing for the move for the Dogs. All right, cool. Thanks, Dev Era. I really shouldn't have read that one. Probably.
Katoa did not look to have
he
a
didn't
limp.
he looked fine.
He looked healthy. No one was really giving it any time of day at the launch. So, yeah.
I read a report today where he said he was ready to go for round 1. So should be all good.
All right, Dev Air in the comments then says, if the Sharkies don't retain Toby Rudolph, it'll be a big mistake. He changed the momentum of games last year on multiple occasions. That's probably true. And then Lat's confirming that, well, firstly, that he thinks that Hiroti should be captain. Then he says that the Cleary decision was horse, S-H-O-T. And then he's claiming that the message was at 8:27. All right, well, that is super helpful. And 2.0 then confirming using your dad as a lawyer. All right, well, let's get into the panel's picks for the top 8. So who makes the top 8 according to the panel? So we're going to start off by looking at, well, this was the top 8 last year. So what was it? Raiders, Storm, Bulldogs, Broncos, Sharks, Warriors, Panthers, and Roosters made up the top 8 last season. So the way we're going to do it is reveal the panel's picks based on where they think they're going to finish. So we've got Chris Kelly, Franco, the Solve Accounting boys have run the numbers and they've provided their list, how much you want to believe that or not. And then I've got my list as well. And then I'll reveal on Franco's Latino's text message what his picks were, and we can all rubbish those at the same time. All right, so first team to be revealed is the Raiders. So Kelly and Franco. Kelly has the Raiders finishing in the top 8, but in 8th position. Franco has them finishing 5th. And I don't have them finishing in it at all. Neither does the Solve Accounting boys. Franco, you're still high on the Raiders, but still going back a little bit. What's your take on them? Why do they drop 4 spots?
Yeah, I think that they had a few things go their way last season, which is sort of what put them up there in first. There was, and I'm sure we'll talk about it as we get to some of the other teams, there was a lot of injuries and a lot of scenarios that sort of pulled the other teams down. That said, I don't want to discredit a bunch of those young kids that are playing at the Raiders, just absolutely phenomenal talents. And I think assuming they keep going from strength to strength and keeping that core roster together, they're going to be a pretty strong team for the next 3 to 4 years. And I think, again, barring second-year syndrome for some of them, they should continue to just perform really well. So, yeah, they're in there for me. I don't think they're going to drop too far.
Kelly, 8th. I have them completely dropping out. New halfback, heartbreak of last year, tough to get over. I can see them really falling out. You at least have them scraping into the 8.
I have him scraping in and just on what Franco said, but given they got the most overrated coach in the league, I don't see him improving that much. Like you said, they've lost Jamal Fogarty, who's gone to the Manly, which I don't think is going to improve them. So it's only going to weaken the Raiders. I think they actually shook the Faders tag a little bit last season, but we're in some dire situations. If you recall, they beat us in the last 30 seconds in one game. They were the 0-2 premiers the first time since the 09 Dragons, 0-2 minor premiers. So I think those hangovers and scars, they should have lost to the Broncos in extras, or they did anyway, but they should have won that game. So I think there's going to be a little bit of a hangover there for them. And I just think, like the Wars did the year before that I predicted, we'll just have a little drop off in form.
Now, you got a comment from Phil Cow in the comments, guys, obviously of Solve Accounting. He's wanting to know, will you be doing a review at the year end? And what's the prize when Solves wins? Well, I was going to say the prize would be free tax return from Solve Accounting, Phil, but if you think you're so confident of winning, we'll see how you go. Well, let's just get it in the comments and see what everyone thinks of Solve Accounting running by the numbers. Williams 2.0 in the comments agrees with you, thinks Fogarty is going to be a big loss. All right, that's the Raiders. I don't have them finishing at the top 8 at all. And the good news is I don't have to talk about Ricky Stewart much. All right, on to the next. We have the Eels. So Franco has the Eels finishing 4th. So he's got 2 teams, 4th and 5th, that I also don't have. And Solve Accounting has the Eels 7th. Chris doesn't have them at all. I guess he's hoping that his wife and his other family members won't be top 8 relevant again. Franco, why are you so high on the Eels, mate?
Yeah, look, I think Kelly probably knows the Eels a little bit more intimately than I do. But that said, you've got to remember that Moses was out for a massive chunk of last season, and when he came back, they just went on a roll and they almost made the top 8. And I think if he's fit and healthy for the full year, they're going to be great. Pezzett, him and him together, I think they'll be fine. They won't have a problem.
You're just fallen victim to the preseason curse.
Oh, there's certainly an element of that. There's certainly an element of that.
You just think that the Eels are good. The Eels are they're like being the worst team since 1986, Franco.
I tell you what, though, Moses, as much as I don't like him,
he's going to get injured.
Well, good.
He's going to get injured. We don't wish injuries on anyone, except for you, Lachlan Galvin. All right, on to the next. Next team we've got is the Tigers. So Chris and I both believe their improvement continues, and despite some off-field distractions, I'm going to say that Benji Appy and Luai get them going. They're my smoky to get in, despite the fact that I don't like it when teams have off-field problems. And I like the fullback for the Tigers as well. Chris, you're with me on the Tigers.
I'm with you on the Tigers. My Vegas best mate, Bunty Afoa, is over there. So he had a ripper start to the season. I love Bunty Afoa. Got some good props, some young kids. Like I said, there was a monster winger that played on the weekend and ran over 3 Panthers, including Dylan Edwards. Absolutely steamrolled him. I think their confidence has grown from where they've learnt. The Galvin situation's done and dusted. I think their team's finally settled. I think Benji can string them together. I think their spine's really good. I think they're going to be the team to watch. They started strong last year and just sort of teetered away after that, but I think they're going to learn from that.
Don't discount Luai.
Luai's the best.
Best player in the NRL.
Speaking of the team behaving themselves, obviously I put in my prediction for the Eels before the Isaiah Longy news came out.
Can I just say on the Eels, Franco, before the Iongi came out, the Lomax saga continues. Addo Fox is now out for 2 months with thumb surgery. They're replacing Brown with Pezzett.
The Eels aren't making it, Franco.
They've still got Jack Williams.
They are not making it.
They can see Jack Williams fight again.
They're an absolute mess.
They've got a worse player in Jack DeBellin. Seriously, it gets worse.
Yeah, I was watching the Eels and I saw Jack DeBellin come out. I'm like, oh, man. All right, go the Eels. All right, on to the next. We've got the Dolphins. So Kelly's pretty high on the Dolphins at 5th. Franco has them in 8th. And as we said, SJD earlier said, well, where the Dolphins, where they should be. So far, I haven't got anyone in my top 8. So it's funny who the hell's going to make it from my list. As I continue to look at that. Kelly, what up with the Dolphins? Well-run club?
Yeah, well-run club. I think they're going to move on from a lot of injuries finally. Very healthy this year going into there. Hopefully, touch wood, that they are all good. Because when they're fit and firing, they're a really good footy team. Exciting to watch. Big Gilbert's back. They got Cobbo this year as well. So a few little tweaks to their team, and I think they'll finally crack it and get into the top 8.
All right, on to the next. Solve Accounting has the only person that backs the Rabbitohs to make the top 8 in 6th position. And I asked Phil for his rationale, and he said, believe in Wayne Bennett. David Fafita signing is huge, and the return and they have a healthy Latrell Mitchell is their major call-out. I see your point, but you're wrong, Phil. The Rabbitohs are not going to make the top 8, I don't think. You just can't. They're still struggling post Reynolds and finding the halfback and all that sort of stuff.
If there's history to go off players' history, Latrell and, like Franco said before, the halfback for the Eels, just They're injured. They're always injured. Like, you can't
Tommy
say, oh, if
Turbo,
they stay
always
healthy.
injured.
They're just Tommy Turbo. They're just a list of players. David
Speaking of
Fafita
Tommy
hasn't
Turbo,
been himself for 4 years. If you have Manly in there, you've got rocks in your head.
none of us have got Manly.
Good.
None of us have got Manly. All right, on to the next. And I'm just going to say, I can't believe you guys have abandoned this team. Our friends at Wars Up TV, just be
Did
it
I?
known that,
Oh.
yeah, you didn't have the Warriors in there. So
Yeah.
not sure why all of you have abandoned our friends across the pond. They were one of the top teams last season until Metcalf got injured and Barnett went out. So the return of Metcalf is critical. How soon can he come back? It might be round 6. It might be round 8. But the back end of the year, they're going to put together a run. They will make the top 8, and they will be a difficult team to defend and to deal with. So they're in my 8 in 7th position.
Speaking of players who are always injured, or Metcalf. So yeah, we'll see how the Warriors go. Look, I think
you got.
Off you go,
Go, Franco.
Oh.
You've got Metcalf coming back, yeah, which is great. Hopefully he stays fit and healthy. But Barnett, again, he's come out. He's requested to leave on compassionate
and shopped
ground.
around.
So he's sort of one eye on the other side of the fence, and we'll see how they go. I do like the Warriors. I think, Boldo, you and I were talking about them the other day. How of all the teams, if the Sharks aren't going to win one, I'd be happy for the Warriors to win one and get that monkey off their back. But look, I just don't think this is the year. I think they're kind of in a bit of a rebuild this year.
We'll see.
I agree. I agree. They're in that little sort of situation where their halves are injured. Tamari Martin broke his leg in that All-Stars game as well, so he's out for a little bit. So there's 2 halves already out for the first third of the season. They got the older guys there. Barnett, like Franco said today, announced that he's going to leave at the end of the season, but I could really see him going before that because it is for family issues. So I could really see an early release. They're a little bit older in some other places. They lost the big man, Bunty. 2 of us are Sheks getting on. I love Bunty. Charles Ducascostat has 1,000 head knocks that he just continues to get through. But I love watching them when they play, like everyone does. When they're exciting, they're on. Great team to watch, and I wish they make the 8. But they're in a bit of a tiger spot that have been the last couple of years. They're just missing a few pieces there.
All right, Waz Up TV, boys. Just be it known that I supported you. All right, on to the next. The Bulldogs. So, there they are. We all have the Bulldogs in the top 8, interestingly enough. Kelly's got them finishing 4th. Franco's got them 7th. Sullivan 8th, and I've got them in 6th, which is surprising as I think we've all concluded that whilst they're a good club team during the regular season, they may not have the players or the big enough players for the final series. I still think Lachlan Galvin's upset that team, but we just know they're a well-run club. Gould's got his tricks up to a point, and as much as I don't want to have him in there and I get scared every time I go to a match there, Chris Kelly, you just got to respect the Bulldogs, don't you?
Yeah, look, they get a bye in Vegas, pretty much playing the Dragons in round 0. Sorry, Dragons fans. Not really. Yeah, they're a good regular season flat track bullies like we used to be. They'll find a way, but in that semi-final, it's just going to be those halves that I've talked about for ages, but they fix up their props with Leo Thompson if he comes back in the next 6 to 8 weeks. I just think they'll just get through the regular season and just get those wins that they need to get and then position themselves well.
Look, I honestly think we're a better, more settled team than the Bulldogs, and we saw how much the trip to Vegas threw us off kilter for the first chunk of the season. I don't think they're going to handle that well either, so I think they're going to come back from Vegas and they're going to sort of struggle a little bit to the beginning of the season. And
you've still got them up there, Franco.
I do, yeah. They're a good, strong team. They've got a team that is really well drilled in defence, and that's going to win them a fair chunk of games just on its own. But I think as far as getting them to the top echelon, I think they're going to probably drop a few too many games at the beginning, and then look. You've said Gould has his tricks. He's got so many of his tricks, but unfortunately, one of his tricks is also maybe meddling a little bit where he doesn't need to. And I think I could sort of see something again happening mid to late season where he decides to maybe try and tinker away or pit the press against the club to try and circle the wagons for some innocuous reason. And I think it's just gonna backfire a little bit, and they'll make the 8. They certainly will, but I think they don't have that class yet.
All right, Broncos. So Solver Counting is really high on the Broncos, calling out that they will be the minor premiers. I would have thought that surely there is some sort of post-premiership bubble. They didn't look too good in the World Club Challenge. Halves are even older now, but how do they fit the 3 into 2? Franco has them outside the top 4. I've got them finishing, in 5th. Franco has them 6th. Chris, you've got them 3rd. You're still high on them. Do you think there's no premiership bubble for the Broncos?
Not high, but you know what it's like coming off a premiership. They're going to have the same squad, so they know what it's required throughout the season. I just wonder if the Payne Hastings is going to rear its head. There's already rumours around the Michael Maguire thing's raising its head once again just to start the season again. Like you said, it's Reynolds' swan song as well. Ben Hunt's a little bit older, but they've just got that squad that, they can find wins quite easily and score from everywhere. Reece Walsh is still the star that he is. It's just whether they can hold on to get to that sort of that premiership. I haven't got them going back to the grand final, but I think they've got enough to get to 3rd.
Now let's just jump to the next one. If we look at Franco's tips here, guys, he's got 3 spots left, but he doesn't have the Roosters. So Kelly's got the Roosters coming in 2nd. Sol's got them 4th. I've got them 4th. Franco has completely abandoned the Roosters. Now we know that Chris Kelly is closet Roosters. So Franco, you got them missing out entirely. Cherry Evans, is he just a disaster? Is he?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work out as well as they think it is. Obviously, you can't take last season as gospel because he was looking over his shoulder the whole season and not really playing with his heart. And I imagine he kept telling himself he was and kept telling the media he was, but he was checked out. That said, he's a year older. He's been dropped from Origin, not performing there at that level. There's going to be a lot of expectation on him here at the Roosters. The rest of their squad, it does ooze talent, but it's also technically a rebuild as well, right? They've lost a lot of good players that, cycling through. And I just think that they're not going to get there. I think there's going to be too much weight of pressure on the Roosters.
All right, fanboy. Chris Kelly, tell us why the Roosters.
It's the Roosters. It's the Roosters. Come on, we can't. Every year we write them off. They sneak in. Look at last year. They sneak right in there and give us a fright every single time. It's the Roosters. And now they're going to add Cherry Evans. Teddy's a year older, so he's not going to be in Origin. Cherry Evans is not going to be in Origin. They got the players there. Uncle Nick will come in and grab Manu out of rugby. He'll come back. Suali will probably come back as well, and they'll just go, they're just on match
Sonny
payments.
Bill.
It's just Sonny Bill will probably turn up.
Brad Fittler.
Mitch Barnett will finish out the season at the Roosters. It's just, come on. It's the Roosters. They're going to finish up there. It's just silly not to say they're not going to be there.
Oh, goodness me. All right, that's why the Roosters. Well, I've got them finishing 4th. I think you're right. It's tough to write off the Roosters. And shout out to Tim, my Roosters mate. He just talks my freaking ear off about
God,
the
they drive us insane.
They just drive me bonkers. All right, Chris has only got 2 spots left. Franco's got 3, Solve's got 3, and I've got 3. So the next team that we're going to talk about, well, I've got them finishing in 3rd place is the Penrith Panthers. Solve's got them 4th. Franco's got them 3rd. Kelly's got them missing out entirely. I just don't understand how you can't think that the Panthers are going to. You didn't have the Panthers in there either. So
yeah, I thought I had them 6, didn't I? I thought I had them 6, didn't I?
Well, no, because you're about to see who you've got 6th, haven't you?
I thought I had them at 6.
Try and explain the Panthers not being in your top 8, sir.
All right, well, we'll leave that. We'll leave that off.
Leave that for me.
I just think, look, the Panthers are clearly going to come back and come good. They had a second half of the season. They had a really good final series. They were pretty unlucky against the Brisbane Broncos in that last finals match. Here we go, Phil Gowser. Come on, CK.
I just text up in a second.
I just don't. Even though it's been described that they've got a tough draw, I thought about even having them 2nd or even maybe at 1st. So I just can't see the Panthers. They've just got so many quality players and elite level players that they'll bring up the rest of the team. I'm not sure that we need to touch on that for any longer as we move on to the next team. There are 2 to go. The Storm is who you have in 6th position. So Franco has the Storm finishing minor premiers. Solve has them finishing second, and I have them finishing second. Franco, the Melbourne Storm, minor premiers.
Yeah. Look, obviously missing Paps is not the greatest. And Asa Simona. Thank you for butchering that name, Franco. But they play plenty of games without them, whether they are injured or suspended or whatnot. So they're not going to miss them the way other teams are going to miss key pieces of their spine or engine room. I think the Storm will just do what the Storm do. They're consistent. They'll be hurting, and I think they're going to come back just as consistent and strong as they always are. I think, look, we didn't really touch on the Panthers. I think there's an element of their history preceding them for me. Like, that's why they're in third. I'm not entirely convinced they're going to be that high, but the Storm, you just know they're going to turn up and they're going to play their way and they're going to get there and thereabouts.
Chris, have you remembered why you were so low on the Storm at sixth? Or are you happy with that?
Yeah, it's going to be, I call it every single year a drop-off, but I think this year's the real big drop-off for them because they're still going to be six. I've got them in there. I just think it's getting a little bit tougher on these guys going through the rep season. Like Franco said, they lost Pappy, they lost Nas, they've lost Anderson. The Lomax saga is not clear, and I don't know if it's ever going to get solved. There isn't much below that top 17. They're starting to get a bit thin out there, so I've just got them dropping at least a little bit, but not fully out. I can't wait for the day they don't make the semi-finals. It's going to be great. We can finally shake them away. It's like the Chiefs, just get rid of them. But I just have them just six, but I think they've just lost a couple of layers.
It's not going to happen until Bellamy goes.
They'll be consistently in the 8. I can see your take on why they might finish 6th, but Pappenhausen will come back, or they'll sign Zach Lomax and he'll play fullback or something like that. All right, well, it's time to reveal the picks, the last picks.
Hang on, Boldo. Yes. Oh, no.
What do you mean, oh, no?
The other two, but go for it.
What do you mean the other two?
Solve and Franco, come on.
So, all right, so there is only one team left, so I can confirm that I have not picked the Gold Coast Titans to be the minor premiers. And I have not picked the Manly Sea Eagles to be the minor premiers, nor have I picked the Newcastle Knights, because I've looked into the crystal ball, guys. I've run the numbers and I've done the video on it. And I know that the Sharks guys are going to be the minor premiers in 2026. So the reason why they've got the weak draw, they've got the quality team, we're shaping up towards a round 27 match against Melbourne Storms for the minor premiership. That round 27 match at Shark Park is going to be the biggest regular season match at Shark Park we have seen for a hell of a long time. I think the Sharks can do the minor premiership. Salve's got him third. Franco's got him second. Chris, back me up here.
It's not against the Storms, but we won't have to worry about the preseason challenge when we win the JJ Shield anyway for the minor premiership check, and we'll just get to play at Allianz as their home ground for the semi-finals, because it sounds like the NRL is pretty much stamping out suburban grounds for semi-finals, and pretty much the media's writing it as well. So, like you said, we haven't got the travel. Last year was Vegas into North Queensland, into wherever else we played Perth, which we're going to do again this year, but at least we've got a break in there. As long as AFB just says, you know what, I'm going to stick with playing for international games and not Origin, who cares? Nico's not going to get selected. I just think we just stay healthy and get through the season and play through that draw and finish minor premiers. Kind of like what the Raiders did, just under the radar, keep going along, same team every week. We won't have to change a team list and just go from there.
I will say that there's a bit of a blue tinge to my glasses in putting them second. I'm not entirely sure they'll finish that high, but I think they will have a fair chance of, for and against, being a key contributor between first, second, third, and they're going to be there or thereabouts. So, I think that's going to be good. You mentioned AFB and Origin. He's going to play Origin. There's no chance that he won't. He did say at the fan launch, or the media launch, that he's going to play if asked. I've just got to support my I've just got to support my club and play well for my club and do that. And if that's the thing, then he will play, right? So he's gonna play Origin, and I think it's worth mentioning that there's probably a fair chance that Brails will be thereabouts in Origin. Nickera will be thereabouts in Origin, and with the extended bench, who knows what kind of shenanigans might go on at selection for Origin, because if we're doing well, if we think we are going to be, contending for the minor premiers, and we've got a red hot team, that conversation about Nico for Origin is going to come up again. Maybe even Trindle for Queensland. So we could be pretty impacted by Origin, the likes of which we haven't seen since Fitzy joined the club, and that could have a real problem. Hopefully it's a boost to us. We've seen Penrith have half their team in Origin and they still go on to win everything. So it's not a be all and end all, but it's certainly a factor that we haven't had to contend with for quite some time. So it'll be something new for us. And I would say that outside of that, us as the Sharks are a settled squad. Everyone was quietly confident. Everyone's looking healthy. And I think that we should give this a fair shake.
Yeah, like it's more that Origin thing where I like the part where the experience part. It's more the speculation around it. It's more the ins and outs. But you earmark Mitchell Moses already to have a great season, so he can go and take that jersey with Nathan Cleary. They can go and do it and deal with that. It's just the way the draw gets set up is to sort of benefit teams that are highly representative, and then teams that aren't sort of fall by the wayside and lose those 2 points either side. So it's the ones that I don't like is that part of Origin. And then coming out with a bit of a hangover as well. And then we just forget about Origin and move on to the end of the season. And we're like, well, what do we worry about for the first 6 months? So you're right. Boldo, do you think with that extended bench situation, it's going to be very EPL sort of style? I was going to ask you before in regards to it, where you got 6 players and you got plan A, but then you're going to go plan B and C depending on how a game goes.
Oh, I'm on my phone, guys, so we'll see how the I'm going to have to call my help desk, Franco. So can you come over in the next couple of days and help me sort out this internet at this new house? I swear it's because I inherited the broadband from Jeff, and the broadband was so messy and dirty that I put it in the dishwasher as a way of fixing it. It seems to work, but I'm not sure if that's going to work. So Franco can confirm for me that was a pretty dumb idea, but it seems to be working. To answer your question, I think you'll find they'll run they'll have a vast array of different skill sets of players on the bench. And you'll find that it'll be 2 big forwards, maybe even the 3rd big forward, maybe even the 4th big, but certainly a second rower. Then you've got your 2 utilities, either your half or your outside back is what's going to happen with the benches for those. So I think you'll find the bigger squads that have got quality in positions 18, 19, 20, 21 might tend to do better is the way that I'm kind of feeling it going. So, sorry, I missed that couple of minutes.
That's all right. There's a whole other element to Origin. You're going to have a 6-player bench. It's just
I think you'll find that they're going to pick
who doesn't play, and he gets stuck in the squad, and he just sits there on the bench.
Origin's going to pick. They're going to pick.
Just doesn't get on.
They're going to pick Cleary, Moses, and Luai in the Origin. One of them will be on the bench, and one of them may not play.
Maybe even Matt Burton's probably on the bench. Probably grabs a bench spot.
They might also pick Matt Burton. They might pick both of them.
Origin. That's
Origin. On the.
Yes.
You love
so
Origin.
Far away. So far away.
Well, everyone, get your top 8 comments in there. 2.0 said that it'll be 1 Storm, 2 Broncos, 3 Sharks, 4 Panthers. Ryan Malls in the comments says, presuming Boldo has Sharks in it first, his 8 will be the closest. Thanks for the confidence. And then 2.0 also says, Boldo will say, surely we can't lose from here in the minor premiership game. I'm not sure, Ivan. I will risk that. All right, look, last segment of the show. I'm going to hit through this. It is 5 things that Boldo is sick of hearing in the offseason. Just 5 annoying commentaries about the Sharks. It is a top 5 list. So let's, without any further ado, just get into annoying stuff that just seems to get talked about relentlessly. All right, we've already heard it once tonight as, your stadium's not good enough. Chris said, the NRL's flagging it. I just want to say this to you, NRL. Get your filthy hands off my buddy Shark Park Ocean Protect Stadium. We love Ocean Protect Stadium. It's local to the Sharks. If we go play somewhere else, there's no chance that I'm going to get my mate Franco to turn up to a match because he doesn't travel across that bridge. So we got to be playing at Shark Park, Ocean Protect Stadium. We own the stadium. We own the Leagues Club. That's our spiritual home. Hands off. If you want to make it better, then help us make it better. I'm sick of hearing about the Shark Park not being good enough. And let's all just also remind you of this. Is Dino, just make Shark Park better. Just build that Brett Kamali toilet, as Brett Kamali talked about, in that northeastern wing, and build that extra exit so we can get above 14,000 bloody fans and get back to 18,000. So I'm sick of hearing about Shark Park. On to the next. Can't win final series or finals matches. So, well, firstly, Craig Fitzgibbon, for those that are without audio, you can see there he is with no arms. So it'll make it pretty hard for him to coach and write things on the clipboard if he doesn't have any arms. But I'll just say this. In the last 6 matches, the Sharks have won 50% of their finals matches. Don't tell me that the Sharks can't win finals matches. We beat the Roosters. We beat the Raiders last season. We were closer to beating the Storm in the prelim final down in Melbourne. That was a particularly tough game. We really took it out of them. And we were given a really tough draw, given it was a Friday turnaround from a Saturday match in Canberra. Don't tell me that the Sharks can't win the big matches, because we can. And this year, we're coming for you. Football's coming home. All right, the next thing that I'm sick of hearing about.
Tell you what, Boldo.
Yes.
You might have got your wish a little bit on this one, because there was an article, I think it was today. The narrative has changed a little. It's no longer about the Sharks can't win finals. They've now done their numbers, and they're talking about how we've been in, 3 prelims in 4 years or whatever it is. And and that now the problem is not that we can't win finals, it's that we don't know how to get it to the next level. We don't know how to get into the grand final.
Just wrapped in a different headline.
It's exactly the same garbage, but with a different headline, and that's what they're going to run now. And I'm already sick of that. So if you just change that little line underneath Fitzgibbon, it still works.
So Franco looks forward to seeing that in next year's top 5 list of 5 things that annoy Boldo. Yeah, that's probably true. All right, on to the next. The next thing that always, why isn't the Leagues Club open yet? Oh, goodness me, please. I'm just sick of hearing talking about the Leagues Club. I must get asked, not as much as I do number 1, but certainly I get asked about, when's the Leagues Club opening? What's wrong with the Leagues Club? Why can't they stop the Leagues Club coming? It's coming, guys. The Leagues Club's coming. I predicted that it would never open, but I'm glad to see that I'm going to be wrong. It may be open during the season, but I doubt it. It'll be open for the grand final in some way when we make it. So I'm sick of hearing about the damn Leagues Club. Guys, just chill out. It's coming. On to the next. Goodness me, number 2. I'm sick of hearing about the squad being, this is their last chance and this is their last time together and all this sort of rubbish. It doesn't mean anything. It's like, all bloody football teams and squads are different every single year. We don't have Daniel Atkinson anymore. So, we're a different squad from last year to the year before. We don't have Jack Williams. We're missing all of these different players. We don't have Phil Luluai anymore. There's various different players that we don't have anymore. So I don't buy into this bloody rhetoric about the last dance or any of that stuff. I'm just sick of absolutely hearing it. Can you talk to me about something else? But for God, please don't talk to me about subject 1, which is Nico's not good enough. I am just sick of being asked. I tell you what, you host a Cronulla Sharks fan podcast, do you? Nicho Hynes isn't good enough. Yes, he is good enough. Nicho Hynes is closer to being the greatest rugby league player of all time than you are in ability, my good friend, to Nicho Hynes, right? Nicho Hynes is an elite level rugby league player. Don't tell me that Nicho Hynes doesn't have confidence. Oh, he's not a confident guy. Mate, that guy is like a good-looking rooster. He's the halfback for like a premiership bloody rugby league team. That guy ain't struggling in any way in life. He's confident. He's lovely. He's a beautiful human being. He's like a high percentage goal kicker. It's really hard to win these high-level rugby league matches. And we've seen Nathan Cleary struggle at State of Origin because you need the forward pack. And there's, and as Ryan Mal says, there's not many halfbacks that you'd have over Nicho. I'm not sure that I would have any halfbacks over Nicho. I want the Sharks to win with Nicho. Nicho, you're my boy. Those are the 5 annoying commentaries about the Sharks that I'm just sick of hearing about. Franco, give us a reaction to those. Have you got one extra for us, or you think I'm on point?
Jeez, I don't know. Nico slips you $100 at the fan day, and you're all pro Nico.
I was always pro Nico.
No, look, I think you've sort of hit the nail on the head with a lot of those. I'm not sick of hearing about why the Leagues Club isn't open yet, because I'm also one of those people kind of asking why the Leagues Club isn't open yet. number 2 there about, the last dance and the squad, not being around, 14 players off contract, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that one gets me because I'd be curious to see how much of a buy-in on that is from the club side, because there's certainly, they are mentioning it, and I don't know if they're mentioning it because the press has just asked them that question so many times. They kind of know it's coming, so they kind of got to get it out and jump on the front foot and talk about it a little bit. But for a team that's so well connected, for a team that, by all reports, is really gelling both on and off the field, that kind of talk can only be rubbish. We're talking about Barnett getting passionate leave from the Warriors, and the press is already saying, oh, we can join the Sharks because they've got so many players coming off contract.
No.
You flick away some of their players and Barnett can join you, no worries, easy days. And it's like, well, come on. If we could flick them away and sign Barnett, why wouldn't we sign someone like Rudolph, who already knows the club, already gels well with the club, understands all the plays, he's already a bit of a fan favorite. It's one of those things that I'm just worried that will be a snowball up until the end of the season, and that will be the news story that defines us as a club. That last dance, that you're off contract, what are you doing? And getting in the minds of the players that they have to perform. They need to score that try, or they need to get that extra meter, as opposed to sticking to the game plan, following through, getting the win. So we'll see what happens.
Kelly, is there anything on that list you'd add, or is there anything you're just sick of me talking about with the Sharks and my carry?
Well, I was going to say it's pretty much I was going to bring it up to say it's the catalyst of our 3 years worth of pod is all those subjects. So we're pretty much just writing ourselves off. It's kind of hard to do a podcast when everything's so rosy and going so well. So, the stadium thing, look, the stadium annoys me in the fact that we want to be greedy and have our semi-final at home because that's what we enjoy. We hate the ticket furor every season. Look, the field the ground isn't good enough for a semi, but it is if we're playing North Queensland or the Storms or something like that. Fair enough. But God, I don't want to look. I live far enough away from Shark Park as it is to go to Allianz. Like, that's just a whole extra weekend just in town just to watch that. Like, I don't care, Brian Fletcher, if he spent $1 billion building a stadium. That was your fault. No one wants to go to Allianz because the Roosters play out of there. Like, that's their ground. It's not the neutral ground anymore. That's not the big ground. That's just something City decided to build, and now they can't find a way to fill it, just like they did with Homebush. Like, they built it for the Olympics, and now it's, well, let's make it a rugby league central. So I don't get it. And then, on the Leagues Club, hope it opens. Hope we get a new Chinese restaurant and entrees per person.
Yes.
Don't get me started. That's point 6. Bloody things I'm sick of hearing about is why you should buy an entree per person. Just buy a selection of entrees and then share it and pick the ones you like and the ones you don't want. Then you can get an extra dish.
No, you can just eat our entrees. Me and Franco get one per person and you'll want to eat them all.
All right, that was the ET Stand podcast. As we head to the weekend, there are 2 matches. And Rhino's a succulent Chinese meal. Yeah, exactly. Las Vegas. That's right. Oh, Chris is wearing his Las Vegas hat. How did we get that hat? Didn't we win it or get it from somewhere?
It was in the corporate box that we acquired.
Oh, that's right. It was in the corporate box, wasn't it? That's right. We got a free Las Vegas hat. That's right. That's one of the great stories. And thanks to that company whose name I can't remember that gave us the corporate box. PRX Instant Rewards. Surely they're launching in Australia soon. And sponsoring the ET Stand podcast. All right, 2 matches this weekend. They're on Sunday, aren't they, Chris? Sunday,
yes, they are.
Australia time. What have they been in the afternoon this week?
Yeah, 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock, I believe. So,
yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back. No show on the weekend. No debrief. We'll be back Tuesday night next week. There's talk of us doing the show live from the Sharks at 4 p.m. Tuesday next week. So, I've got to work out if that's going to be possible. So, I'll try and get the answer on that decided pretty quickly so that you guys know whether we're at 4 o'clock or 8:30 p.m. We'll work out the plan for that. But, yeah, doing an episode from Sharks corporate office might be pretty good fun. We'll see how we go. Beyond that, that was the ET Stand podcast. For me, David Bolderman, and my lovely co-host, Stephen Franklin, who might have something else to add because he often does. Have I missed anything, Franco?
No, mate. Nah, I'm not going to say it. I hate Vegas.
We'll talk Vegas fallout next episode. And for Chris Kelly, who watches every single match, including all of the Eels matches, despite being accused of not ever watching them, that was the ET Stand podcast. We'll see you guys next week on Tuesday. Sharks for the minor premiership up Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.